everyone. Grosback for Grosback coming soon. Theaters. I'm kidding. I'm here for day 11 of vlogmas. Didn't really have an idea for the day, so I figured what I would do is I'll do a quick little review of the Willie Horton book that I read. I know everybody out there just dies to watch videos on baseball, so I'll probably lose half my audience, but hey. And then, but before that, I'm going to give you a reading update for December, because I feel that I'm doing very well on my reading list for the month. So that's what I'm going to start with. Nothing special today, so let's just get right into it. I'm only going to show you the books that I've finished, because I'm actually right on the first page of a book, the next book in my list. So, but I finished X-Men: Days of Future Past, the graphic novel. It was kind of like the movie. Oh, and I'm not really going to talk much about each of these. If anybody wants a dedicated review to anything other than the graphic novels, because they will be getting theirs in the list, then let me know. But yeah, Days of Future Past. Of course, stay right there. I finished The Terror. Probably gonna do a video on this anyway. I liked it enough, so, and it was awesome. Then I read Miss Marvel, No Normal. This was a lot better than I expected it to be. I'm not trying to make any statements or anything. The first, like, couple of pages was just the, like, kind of like the cultural inner workings of a Muslim family. And I guess it could be interesting to some people. Wasn't really to me. But once she, like, got covered in the Terrigen mist and became an actual Inhuman and had powers and stuff and was learning how to do that, it kind of reminded me of that old TV show from the 70s, The Greatest American Hero, where he just gets this suit and has to learn his powers. And I kind of liked that a lot. You know, she was getting lucky and everything. It was really cool. And there's a neat touch that I'm going to save for the video when I get to this. So, of course. I don't have the book with me. I loaned it to my mom because it's so good. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I saw that.
Just kind of, since the book is going to be the baseball book, I'll just kind of do this. Tigers and all that. I loaned it to my mom. It was the graphic novel Asterios Polyp by Dave Mazzucchelli. Oh. I initially wasn't fond of the artwork, but once I started reading it, the artwork is like 60% of the story. It really starts to win you over. I mean, there are some pages when it's just like a dwindling dot on or a dwindling scene on a page, and there's no words, but it helps tell you what's going on. And I try not to throw this word around very often, but, and I'm not actually saying that Asterios Polyp is this, but it's about as darn near perfect a graphic novel as I've read so far. So it's awesome. And what's pretty cool is I commented on Epic Comic Book Wednesday for Michael K. Vaughan, and I said you and Steve should read this. And he replied saying, okay, I obviously need to read that. So that's pretty cool, and I hope that he does. Because I'd be interested to see what those two pros have to say about that. And then the rest of the books that I've read this month are from my 1975 project. If you missed that, I will tell you again real quick. I'm going to try and read all of the English language and translated into English language books that were published in 1975 by my 50th birthday, which is in 2025. So, thought that was kind of a cool thing. The first book I read from that was so-so. And any of these 1975 books, if you want me to talk more in depth about them, let me know. Just say, hey, I want to hear more about that one. But the first one was probably, if I have to rate it, I'll go out of 5 because that's the rating everybody's familiar with. This would probably be a 2, maybe a 1.75. It is Below the Root by Zilpha Keatley Snyder. And it probably isn't that bad for some of you because it's the book 1 in a brand new series, or in a trilogy that she was starting in that, or it was starting, I don't know if that's a girl, was starting in 1975, and it's fantasy, and I'm not a big fantasy fan outside of Tolkien and Harry Potter. So this author is trying to just completely start their own magic system, and there could be sentences with 5 words that just don't exist, that they created. So that's fun for somebody who's not a big fantasy fan. So, but yeah, I'd say maybe 1.75 to a 2 out of 5. And then it got worse. It got worse because then I had to read Fake Tarzan, Bunduki, Fearless Lord of the Jungle by J.T. Edson. Now this one, I'm just going to tell you right out that I probably will do a video on, because I want to warn you. It's awful. I mean, the fight scenes are okay. There's positives in it, just like there are in everything. You can find a positive in anything, really. Well, almost anything. Like in a book, you can find positives in any book. But minor spoiler, I guess. This is obviously written by a sexist pig, because it's just overly full with misogyny and stuff like that. It's awful. Anyway, moving on. Then it got a little weird for 1975 because I read this. All right.
They really didn't like that book.
No, they hated that. The Bowl of Baal. And why it got weird is because this is a Lost World novel by Robert Ames Bennett. And it was actually written in serial form in 1916 and 1917. And then they published it as a compiled novel in 1975. So once you get your brain working for the World War I dialogue and lingo and all of that, it works pretty well. I liked this more than I thought. It was okay. But yeah. Then I read, where'd it go? Am I blind? Okay, sorry, everybody. No, don't do that. I read Death Sentence by Brian Garfield, which is the sequel to Death Wish, which is a movie with Charles Bronson. And I read this in about an hour and a half, maybe. Couldn't put it down. It's probably the best thing I've read this month so far. It's very good. So yeah, that was very fun. And just to tell you, just so you know where I'm at, because that's all that I've read so far this month, outside of the Love Dare that I'm doing with AJ. But I am on Joseph Wambaugh's The Choir Boys, and I'm on the first page, so I can't talk about that at all. But so I haven't really started that. But that's what I've read so far this month. It's been an okay month, but like you see, I'm doing very well without NaNoWriMo to slow me down. But now I'm going to talk about Willie Horton, the People's Champion. It is he played for the Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, in the 60s, and then a few other teams, and some of the 70s, and then he played for a few other teams, but he had a really good long career, because I think he came to the majors in 63, and he played through 1980 or 1979, so it was pretty good. I'm just going to give you, it's going to be a quick update, or a quick, not update, but a quick review, where I tell you the 5 things that I like the best about this book, and then a few other quick notes, and then we're going to move, and that'll be it. So, first off, I really enjoyed the early tales of his family. His family was huge. Like, he was the youngest of, what did he say, like 18 or 17 kids or something like that, and he was like 12 years behind him also. His brothers and stuff were like his aunts and uncles instead of his brothers and sisters, and their kids were more like his siblings. So even though he was their uncle, it was just a great community for the family. That was neat. Sorry, I got distracted. We have a new cat, and AJ was allowing him to crawl on the dining room table, and it was very distracting. So the second thing I really liked is how everybody from Detroit views him. He's just like a city-wide hero. And even though he went to play for other teams, the Tigers actually traded him. He's here. He's from here. This is he's Mr. Detroit, and it's great because he grew up in Detroit. And it's really cool that it emphasizes that he grew up playing a pitch and throw type thing off of the walls of Tiger Stadium, and then he's playing in Tiger Stadium. It's pretty awesome. Number 3, the thing that I actually liked the most out of here was when the 67 riots were happening, and after a game, he's in the clubhouse and he hears that there's riots happening on a street near where he grew up. He jumps in his car, still in his uniform, drives to the middle of the riots and jumps on his hood and is trying to quell the riots by himself, putting himself in harm's way as a celebrity. He didn't care. He was like, I don't care. If my presence can save one more person, then that's all that matters. And he's just the epitome of a hero. He uses his celebrity for good. And that's what he does later in life too. I mean, he's all about charities that make the community better. Willie Horton is truly the people's champion. Number 4, the thing I like is his rapport with the city and its people. I mean, he just has that. People are like, Willie Horton, and he stops and shakes hands and talks to people, and because it's his community and it's his people, and you can't stress that enough, that he is Detroit, and Detroit is him. And book 5, I don't want to get too much into it, but obviously you see that Willie Horton is a black man. And it's the 67 riots in Detroit, which were race riots. So you knew it was coming, the racial tension. And I really enjoyed how this book handled that very sensitive topic. It didn't just come right at you with, oh, you're the villain because of who you are, or what you look like. And I really appreciated that. I wasn't alive then. I haven't had to deal with that much. There were times in the shop when I had to deal with some of it. But it's a tiny drop in the bucket compared to what other people have dealt with. So I'm not going to get into that. When he walks the church aisle to get saved, because he is a Christian now, and he lives that life. And he tells the story of when he's just at church for something else, and he just is moved. He hears the word of God in his mind, and he walks the aisle. Brought me to tears. I was sitting in bed reading this, snuffling to myself, because it's very emotional, and he opens himself up for people to see the real him, and it's very well done. The best line is, sorry, yep. He was going to meet a bunch of military people, and like he was at a military function, and he learned how to salute, and he wanted to get it right. And he says this, in 2006, the U.S. military also presented me with the St. Maurice Award for my support. Someone from the military came to Detroit for a couple of days to teach me the proper way to salute during the ceremony. I was more nervous about getting that right than I ever was strolling to the plate in a Major League Baseball game. And that's just amazing, isn't it? That the guy played like an 18-year professional sports career against the best there was to offer. He played in a World Series. The 68 Tigers won the World Series. And learning how to salute and getting it right was more important to him than any of that. I really appreciated that sentiment. Now, I have to show you, hopefully I can find it quickly, the best picture in here, because it's actually pretty impressive. He is just a baseball player. I don't think of him that way, but some people might. Riveting content, right? Me going through a book like this. But there's a picture in here, and it's my favorite picture. And I'm going to try and get it as close as I can when I find it. Here it is. It's right here. It's him and his wife. Can you see that good on there?
Hold it. Try to hold it still for a minute. Maybe put it down on the table so I can focus on it.
I was trying to hold it over my face.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we're focusing on books again.
Okay, hold it up a little, and I think I'll be good.
He meets Barack Obama when he was president. And that's pretty cool to me. And that's the best photo in there. There's a lot of photos in here. So that's Willie Horton, the People's Champion of Detroit. I honestly, when I started reading this book, I thought the